Welcome back, South Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show, presented by SouthJerseyGloryDays.com. Here, Dave O'Sullivan, our guy, put us on here. Mac, last time we were here, there was something in the background, and I think it was a merry-go-round. We've had a merry-go-round as a start to the season.
Yes, it's interesting, right? Early season, a lot of good things happened. Some surprising, some not so much. But football's underway. Ton of games last week, ton of games coming up, and kids were excited, that's for sure.
Yeah, kids were excited. We were excited. Had a lot of good action down at Battle of the Beach. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association put that on. They did a great job. What we're going to do today, guys, we're going to review that action. We're going to then take a pause. We're going to review some other action across South Jersey. Not every team started this week. Every team is in action. So we're going to look at some of the biggest matchups that we have going on there, and we'll talk about our TurnersvilleJeep.com game of the week. Mac, let's just go through this in order. Friday morning, the first game of the season, Mainland beats Egg Harbor Township 37-0. Jamie Tyson puts himself on the map with a touchdown catch, a fumble return for touchdown, and an interception as the Mustangs start off on the right hoof.
Right, and turnovers kill, right? And there's an early season first play of the game. I mean, first game of the season. Yeah. Mainland came in obviously prepared. They got some guys on staff, not only Coach Smith, but the guys running the O, running the D, running the O-line that have been around a little bit and know how to get ready for these early season games, obviously.
Yeah, and it was a good win for Mainland. One thing that started the scoring was a low snap in the end zone for a punt. Special teams woes. We talked about the lack of practice time, and I know it's something you feel passionately about. Special teams problems. This weekend, there were a lot of them. If a team lost in Ocean City, if you went back and looked at their play-by-play, they probably had some type of special teams snafus. It was
not many clean games played head to toe.
No, there were not.
We're going to talk about, some were cleaner than others, but early games, teams are going to make mistakes. Week one, I mean, we said it, I think 2 weeks ago on the show, or talking to Coach Leary. I mean, your biggest jump as a football program is usually between week one and week two.
Right.
This will be an interesting week too, because by Sunday night, everybody in South Jersey will have played a game, right? But some teams by Sunday night will have played 2 games. So you're going to have teams running into that week 2 situation, into their week 1, et cetera. So, things do sort themselves out in 3-4 weeks from now. But right now, early on, special teams, execution, procedural type penalties, as we used to call them, as coaches call them, drive killers, right? Bad snaps. 1st and 10 goes to 1st and 15, et cetera, et cetera. So it gets, it's the things that keep coaches up at night. Coaches lose hair. Yeah. Coaches get gray hair.
Yeah.
So, but that's part of the deal.
That's part of the deal. Another thing that keeps some coaches up at night is trying to defend Ja'Kai Coates at Salem, the quarterback. Cedar Grove certainly will have nightmares after what he did in the second game of the weekend. 53-13, Salem puts it on the Panthers. Ja'Kai Coates, 6 total touchdowns, 3 rushing, 3 passing. Had an excellent start to the season at one of South Jersey's best quarterbacks and one of South Jersey's best teams, even though they're Group 1, a lot of experience back. Big across the line, a lot of speed as always, and last year they got that monkey off their back with that championship, so they're looking for more this season.
Returning quarterback's always huge. High school, and a returning championship quarterback.
Yeah.
So, and which he is.
Knows how to get it done.
Yep.
Absolutely. Downingtown West in the third game beat Highland 47-13. It was a decent start for the Tartans. They scored. They looked like they had their wits about them. Again, special teams. Punt snap, blocked extra point, muffed punt. The muffed punt really turned things around as the Whippets went down and scored and began to cruise there after the first quarter. They win 47-13. The nightcap on Friday, Neshaminy of Pennsylvania 21, Ocean City 0. Marcus Barnett at running back made the difference for Neshaminy. He ran for 273 and 2 touchdowns. The Raiders kept it close but couldn't quite punch it in, couldn't get that score.
Right.
Turned away, ended up having to attempt a field goal, I think at the end of the first half, and it didn't go for them. So, they just couldn't quite get over the hump, but a lot of new characters around Riley Gunnels. I like what I saw from the quarterback. Saturday morning, Wayne Valley 17, Delran 13. Again, Bears made it close at the end. Too many mistakes hurt them. You know, special teams, they had some drop passes. But I did like what I saw from quarterback Derek Namnun, though.
Yeah, I mean,
well.
they did play well. And as you said, you can't drop. I mean, look, drops and things happen. It's high school football. Heck, drops happen in NFL professional football. But
More so in Minnesota now.
right. Well, yeah, I was just gonna say we sent one of the droppies off, or sent him away. You know, but that, but when folks look at we have talked about special teams and the practice time that leads up to that, and you know, just repetition. You know, those things. And there's nothing. We were talking off camera. There's nothing like game reps. Right. Nothing like game reps. I mean, the fatigue that it creates, playing the game of football. It's just a different. You know, you don't know that the snapper who's also playing fullback possibly or guard, right? I mean, how much is he used to the pounding and where his mindset is in that spot. So it'll be interesting how these teams bounce back, so to speak. I mean, there were some teams that won and didn't feel comfortable with the way they won.
Right.
But, you know, look, anytime you get out of a game on a Friday night with a win or a Saturday afternoon, win's a win. You know, you fix it on Monday. And a lot of these coaches that won will want to fix things up. And, of course, a lot of guys who were on the short side of some things, you know, they're going to be doing some things as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Mac. The next game that we had, Toms River North, 28. Washington Township 21. The Mariners just made a few more big plays in this one. Jeremiah Pruitt's pick 6 in the third quarter made it 28-14 and was the eventual game winner. I liked what I saw from both the teams throughout the game. I think these are two teams that we can kind of pencil in as favorites to get back in Group 5. And you look at Cherokee and Kingsway, of course, you know, Lenape, some other squads there as well.
Tough football. It's a good brand of football. November, December, you know, you bet those teams are going to play good defense.
Sure.
They want to run the ball. They'll spread you out a little bit, but they're physical football teams, and that's going to translate.
Yeah, some big guys on the line for both sides. Micah Ford, the quarterback, ran for $131 for Toms River North, and Jared Dizergowski rushed for all 3 touchdowns for the Minutemen. I liked what I saw from him. You know, that was one of those. I think Township. We were excited to see them, and they lived up to what we thought we'd see, I think. Toms River North has a lot back. You said that experience factor. They really...
Well, they lost in a sectional final last year to Kingsway.
Right.
So they're, you know, anytime when you're a team that has people back that lost in a sectional final, I mean, you know, you're unfortunate to be on the beginning of that, but that tends to kind of be the rallying cry for that upcoming season, which Toms River North... You know, they have a lot of things circled on their calendar, I'm sure, which, look, bodes well for the township. And we've talked about up and coming, and you know some breakthrough wins. They had that loss in the playoffs last year, which probably leaves a bitter taste in their mouth, right? As a higher seed.
Yep, sure.
So, you know, that a lot of those guys are returning, and you know, coach will have them going up next week and say, guys, you want to play with the big boys? You got to compete every week, and you got to compete every down, every quarter, every down, the whole, you know, all the adages.
Yeah, a very good game, entertaining for sure. Pruitt really showed his star power. St. Peter's Prep 41, St. Augustine 7, the afternoon game on Saturday. The Marauders just on another level right now compared to a young Hermits team. They'll use this experience to get better for sure. St. Pete's Jalen Speedy Klein ran for $170 on 11 carries and scored twice. And then Red Bank Catholic rolled 33-7 at night.
I think both those
games,
the teams are just on, you know, I don't know Vianney as much. Augie's on the younger side this year. I mean, experience-wise early on, you know, playing St. Peter's Prep's on the high side of their, you know, hey, look, I commend both teams for playing those games. They knew, you know, St. Augustine knew that Prep was going to have, you know, they knew what they had back, and you know, Augie's young. I know you secondary. You got young Jack Ganaris had a 40-yard interception return on a positive note for Augie. So you know, they got some guys in the McClairs and all. They'll be fine. Those guys, they'll get it together.
I do want to bring up a point here, Troy. Excellent point. Syracuse will have some South Jersey recruits and players on the field against Louisville on Saturday night. College football season kicks off Den, Jaquez, right?
And
Deuce. Elijah.
It's 3. That's
LeQuinn. I don't know if LeQuinn's playing or not, but definitely the pipeline.
They got guys
Syracuse.
They got guys
South Jersey. A lot of orange.
Yeah,
They got a lot of orange.
Yeah, guys on rosters. There are a lot of good South Jersey players playing a lot of high level Division I football this weekend or the upcoming weeks for sure. So, you see these guys. They come back. They were doing some things obviously in South Jersey to get to those schools, and then they come back and they've gotten bigger, stronger, faster. You don't think they can get much bigger or stronger, but they have.
Right.
Whole different level, and pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, and we had some guys make some cuts, make some NFL rosters as well today and yesterday. So congratulations to all South Jersey that's out there representing. We remember when you were on the turf here, and as things keep moving forward, congratulations. Sunday morning, we're going to take a quick break, guys. We're going to come back and review the rest of the games at Battle of the Beach. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that, folks. Had a little technical difficulty, making sure you guys are paying attention. Clearly you were. We're back, Mac. Let's talk about what we saw Sunday morning at the Battle of the Beach. Millville flexes its muscle 41-10 over Thomas Jefferson of Pennsylvania. We talked to Coach Bill Chirpak of Thomas Jefferson on this program a couple of weeks ago. He thought it would be a fun experience, and I'm pretty sure it was, except the game. 41-10, Millville won. Latsier Brooks, 183 yards on 4 catches, 2 touchdowns. Teron Hale, 74-yard touchdown grab. Thomas Smith, an 85-yard screen pass touchdown. Jacob Zamot completed 7 passes for 360 yards. That's
7.
50 per.
That's pretty good.
Naeem Sharp ran for 119 and a score. Jaden Reynes, kicker. Millville has a kicker. 2 for 2 on field goals, 5 for 5 on extra points.
Right. You got to get these guys. I mean, you got to rally to the football against Millville. I mean, easier said than done. Guys everywhere. I had people text me. I saw these guys live. They're a team you want to get down on the field. Mm-hmm. As we used to say, you want to smell them and look at, and they are as advertised. I mean, they got dude after dude. And look, we know Brooks and company and their offensive and defensive line. They're some nasty guys too. I mean, in a good way. They just get after it. They're everybody. You can tell at the high intensity level on the sideline. Everybody just wants to play well. Focus is there on doing it. But when you pick your poison with this team, right? I had people texting me, why don't they just over under Brooks? And I'm like, well, yeah, it's not that easy, right? You're not allowed to play them with 13 guys, which you probably need, maybe 14.
Yeah, maybe 14. You need a heck of a lot more than 11 sometimes. And it was funny, Coach Chirpak said afterwards that it was a great experience. And verbatim, he said he would tell his team, every team they play from now on will look like they're standing still. So that was a positive. A lot of speed for the Bolts.
Yes, Bolts are fast.
Very fast.
Fast.
Very fast. Congratulations, Millville, and congratulations, Coach Bert Ayala, for your first win.
Yeah, congratulations, Coach. Breaking tackles too. I mean, we're not just talking. They're running 9 patterns past people and just floating the ball up in the air. They're doing bubbles and hitches and breaking tackles. And there's another text came to me. Yeah, why doesn't everybody just play 20 yards off them? Well, good luck with that one. Right? I mean, they'll just throw an easier pass, and they're gonna make a guy or two miss. So, and they can run the football.
Right, and we saw it last year too. There were teams that decided they weren't going to be beaten by the big play, and they were going to make them try to earn it. Last year, LaQuinn Allen ended up Gatorade Player of the Year in New Jersey by earning it. So we'll see. Naeem Sharp, I know they have another back in the stable too. They're hoping to get back here soon. We'll see more about Millville this weekend. We'll touch on that at the end of the show. The game of the week was definitely Holy Spirit over Cherokee at the buzzer. Mason Forte's 23-yard kick, 34-31. The Spartans hand Coach Andrew DePasquale his first win. Sean Burns, 365 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Gavin Roman caught 11 passes for 165 and a touchdown. Jasir Ward, remember him, big number 40, the bruiser, sophomore, ran 25 times for $140 and a touchdown. Mac, you and I took this on from the sideline. Cherokee couldn't get off the field late. Fourth down slant kept that game-winning drive alive for Holy Spirit. Bambaria did what he does, 195 yards rushing and a touchdown on 22 carries. He looked great. Spirit had 567 yards of offense, Mac.
That's 2 games worth. That's a lot of offense. That's on Cherokee-like. I think, you mentioned here the Ward kid. He was the one that you were like, whoa, where'd this guy, right? Sophomore? Yes? Mm-hmm. And then to spell him a little bit, they had a freshman back. One was 5'9", 2-ish, 5 maybe, right? He'll tell you he's 220. I think he was 230. And then they had another guy come in 5'8", 165 pounds. So talk about, change of pace. One a bruiser. The other one, the tough kid, controlling balls. But then, Gavin Roman. I mean, my gosh, he's making plays. His motor doesn't stop. He's a fun player to watch. And as you said, Bam does what Bam does. And unlike Cherokee, it was very un-Cherokee-esque giving up that much yardage. And I think that's what they're going to be talking about this week in practice, and not so much talking, but fixing. Yeah,
22 ran the ball well, too, as well. I do want to say Dwayne is in this chat, Dwayne Moore. Some of you guys, I know we saw you down Battle of the Beach. Dwayne, Craig, Coach Ab, North Jersey guys, they've been supporting us on the show since last year's Battle of the Beach. To see them in person and watch some ball with them was a blast. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for all you're doing for football in North Jersey. Absolutely. Holy Spirit, you know what? Charlie Roman can scheme it up with the best of them. You give him an off season to plan for Cherokee, and you know what? He's going to come up with something. He did a heck of a job. Congratulations, Charlie, and congratulations to that staff. That was a big win for Holy Spirit in a game where not a lot of people were really talking about him. But, Mac, we said when we were on the merry-go-round down at Wonderland Pier, they thrive when they're the underdog.
Oh, yeah, because they're not usually. Right. I mean, when is Holy Spirit? Typically, it's not the dog, and they're going to have they're going to put teams on the field. I mean,
right.
You're kidding yourself if you think, you're just going to go to Spirit and take care of it. And the fact that they could put the underdog tag on themselves against a Cherokee program. I mean, that's their coaches love that position that they were in, and they performed and won it on a field goal. It was the most entertaining game of the weekend.
No question. No question about it. I thought it was a game that's going to make both teams better. You look at a team that was inexperienced in Holy Spirit for the most part, outside of McDevitt on the line and Roman, guys we talked about, to be able to get that confidence boost as they move forward. And for Cherokee, a team that was, we looked at Cedar Creek felt great about themselves until they scrimmaged Cherokee.
Right.
Cherokee felt great about themselves after they scrimmaged Cedar Creek. And now they get a chance to recalibrate as well. I know they're going to play Hamilton this week. So, this is kind of this finding a comfort zone, finding who you are, finding what you're made of early in the season for teams that have aspirations to go a lot farther down the line.
Right. I mean, you don't know what's going on. We think we know what you can only get so embedded into a team and what's going on internally.
Right. Sure.
Like, Coach Glatz is probably driving on the bus saying, "Hey guys, maybe they were smelling themselves after the Cedar Creek scrimmage, feeling good, and I'm sure they were, but like maybe a little, sometimes too good." As they say, football's it's a funny game, funny bounces. You got to get ready. You got to play every play, and these teams, Spirit wasn't going to roll over obviously, and look, Cherokee's, Cherokee this week. If you're Hamilton, I don't think I'd want to be Hamilton this week.
Yeah,
that's
tough task for the Blue Devils.
Correct.
All right, guys. Well, that was the Battle of the Beach review. We reviewed the first part in our first segment, and took a brief pause and came back and did the rest. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned as we kind of look back at some of the other actions South Jersey in Week 0. South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is sponsored by Mall Chevrolet on Haddonfield Road. Mall Chevy is South Jersey's largest Chevy dealer. It's been a big part in helping the community grow. They're proud to sponsor South Jersey High School football. Mall Chevy is our area's go-to dealership with largest selection of brand new Chevys and a huge inventory of pre-owned vehicles, plus an award-winning 5-star service department. They're located on Haddonfield Road across from the Cherry Hill Mall. Or you can visit them at mallchevy.com. Also want to get a quick shout out, guys, to Dave O'Sullivan, puts us in business here. Doing a great job at sjglorydays.com. He's got kind of a new vehicle there. It's a beautiful new site, and that's where you can find a lot of the content in the fall here when it comes to football season. I do want to touch about Cedar Creek. Thank you so much, Mandel, for the nod there. They lost to Edison 42-21 in the finale Battle of the Beach. Matt Yasko for Edison. That's a Group 5 team. 4 touchdowns he ran for in the game. It's kind of back and forth, a lot of cramps. We saw that with some other games too. Stop and start and injuries, and not the way Cedar Creek wanted to get started. Their first loss in more than a year. They went undefeated last year. Edison very good though. I was impressed by their toughness, and the quarterback was a really, really tough kid. Yeah,
they controlled the game again. Cedar Creek has a little on the young side, right? Starting out, some shoes to fill, but it's early. Again, another program that's going to go back and practice, figure it out, come back, and I'm sure there'll be a different squad week 2.
Damon Benjamin, number 3, player to watch. He was excellent in the time that he was on the field on Sunday. I believe Jojo Bermudez was number 3. That number 3 has special meaning now. And Damon Benjamin seems like he is up to the task of wearing it. The other games we had in South Jersey. Friday night, Newark Collegiate tops Kip Cooper Norcross Academy 7-0. Woodbury uses Brian Johnson's arm to roll past Maple Shade 38-14. The Herd beat Shade twice last season. They did it again to start 2022. Johnson threw for 203 touchdowns. Jabron Solomon caught 2 of the scores. He had 7 grabs for 129 on the night. Jaswan Solomon had a pick 6. Pennsgrove took charge in the Devils battle, red versus blue. They went up to Burlington City and handed them a 48-14 loss. Asante Johnson had 3 touchdowns for Grove, 8 carries, 75 yards, and 2 scores, and he had an 88-yard kickoff return he took to the house. Curtis Gold carried 8 times for 120 yards. And the score, Rod, do we have Asante? I believe we do. Asante Johnson gets our knot of the week. Here he is. He's taking this kickoff, and you can see one move. Cutting back.
Not many.
Pennsgrove, touchdown. See ya.
Young guys, kicks a return right up the chute, not around. The older you get, the less you can run around people.
Yeah.
Go right up the chute. One cut, go. Boom, 1. You got another one here. Boop.
Yep.
Got another one there.
Damon Benjamin's right. It's Darius Benjamin of Cedar Creek. Apologies. Technical difficulties all over tonight. But Asante Johnson, if you have a name Asante, you know what that means. When the ball's in your hands, you're going to score. I think Asante Samuel had quite a few pick 6s, didn't he?
Sure. And it changes the game. I mean, that one, they were handling them there. So, but when you can get that non-offensive touchdown, whether it be a pick 6, scoop score, special teams touchdown, can really be a backbreaker. When you're in 1 and 2 score games, it usually is the difference.
No doubt about it. Coaches, send us your videos of your non-offensive touchdowns this season. We're going to continue our knots of the week, something I know Coach Mack holds near and dear to his heart. Right?
When you score when you're not supposed to, that makes things a lot easier in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about Hamilton a little bit and who they have next week. They beat Notre Dame 20-14 on Friday night. Lucas Goringer's 2-yard touchdown run was the difference. Justin Dowdy, Kenny Smith, they each scored, and Kenny Smith went for 117 on the ground. Oakcrest beat Vineland 7-6. Samil Miller with a fumble recovery in the end zone. That's a not, Mac, and all they needed, Zachary Forrest.
Yeah.
Interception sealed the win.
Another turnover? Do we count the total turnovers this weekend?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
That was your job.
All right.
Nasir Rees in Dallas with a big night for
Rod.
Timber Creek.
2, as in too many.
Rees in Dallas with a big night for Timber Creek. He scored twice as they won against St. Thomas Aquinas, 26-21. No Sharky Burkhart for Gloucester, but in the opener, no problem. Just kidding, Sharky. We know no one can fill your fins. Jake Zierfoss ran for 202 on the ground and a touchdown as the Lions topped Shalleck 21-0. Shawnee, Mac, you were there and up in Columbus. They win 30-28 against Northern Burlington. Joe Papa threw for 204 yards and 3 touchdowns. He ran for 2 more. What did you see?
Look, I thought Shawnee handled the game early on. Second half got a little complacent, and Northern got themselves back in the game. I was impressed with Papa, right? I mean, Papa, you're filling Wellesley's shoes. Joey's a tough kid, junior quarterback, and he's in a spot where you're replacing a 4-year starter as always, and then having your first start. So I thought he did a fantastic job. Not only physical wise, but just leading the football team. Doing the small things, controlling the football, running the ball. He's a tough guy to get on the ground. Heady football player, and Ethan Krause is just all over the field for them. It's 3-year starter for him, safety, receiver as well, and then a lot of guys. You got some of the guys, the names that have been around for Jimmy Potter's. He's running the ball a lot of it, and did a great job. Had a great first half, and Josh Palouse and Sam Beamer. So the linebacker core, Liam Gilmore played DN last year, is now playing some linebacker. So. I'm sure they didn't like the fact that Northern had a shot at the end to tie it up on a 2-point. But again, week 1, if you're a Shawnee fan, get out with a win and, move on.
Yeah, win's a win. Shawnee has high expectations, and, sometimes you have to recalibrate that. You just get that first one. I mean, it's better than not winning.
It's better than not winning. Do I quote my dad once a show?
At least.
winning ugly is better than losing pretty.
That's right.
So, take the W, go on, and but they'll have, and I know we'll preview it, but they got
a big one.
They got a big one this week.
Tomorrow night, Thursday night.
Correct.
Labor Day weekend. We got games all over the weekend. It's going to be a busy time for the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show road crew, a.k.a. myself. What a start to the year for Cherry Hill West, Mac. The Lions roared against Clearview in the home opener 42-7. Gary Rowe ran for 2 scores, transfer from Woodridge. Kevin Rourke tacked on 2 more, and Tommy Arcaroli notched 15 tackles. The Garrett Lucas era began with a bang in Mount Holly as Rancocas Valley beat Williamstown 21-14. The third quarter took almost an hour due to cramps and stoppages in play. Malachi Castle, who came down on Saturday to battle the beach, and we spoke with him. He had himself a game, ran for 102, caught 39 yards worth of passes, had 2 sacks. Jace Dieter, one of 3 Red Devils with double-digit tackles. He racked up a dozen. Moorestown gets its revenge after 2 years that equaled a 77-0 cumulative score against Burlington Township. It's been a rough couple of years for the Quakers against the Falcons. They got revenge for that with a 28-8 win on Friday. Andrew Curry, 2 rushing touchdowns. Collingswood starts the season on the right foot with a win over Kensington of Pennsylvania, 21-6. Shakur Carter, Eddie Lopez, and Tomas Money each scored on the night off the arm of Timmy Search. He went 19-30 for 237 yards. Junior defensive end Jeremiah Van Zandt had 9 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He recovered a fumble as well. Coach John Emmel, the president of the West Jersey Football Coaches Association, and Coach Mike McEwen of Collingswood, of course, helped put that thing together. They were gone on Friday night. They had to go coach. Both came back with wins. They were feeling great on Saturday. A lot of smiles.
Right. It's much better to come back to those things when you have to be involved after you take care of your business on Friday night. So congratulations to them, and great event that they were in charge of. So it was all put together very well. A lot of hands on deck doing everything there. So
yeah, it was great. I thought the event went great. I thought
great fans. I mean,
the momentum it's generated and the positivity around it, it's been great. And it's a good way to kick off the season. Get to see all these teams, you get to be by the beach, get some popcorn, Mac. I know you guys enjoyed your time down there.
Got some popcorn, got some pizza, get some ice cream. It's whatever you normally do down the beach. You can ride the Ferris wheel, merry-go-round, whatever.
We did have a couple games on Saturday. One of Ohio's better teams, Chardon, takes down Camden 33-6, and Rob Hinson's debut as the highest coach. That was in Canton, Ohio. Spotswood doubles up Bishop Eustace 28-14. And Somerville downs Mastery Charter in the Warriors' first varsity game. Elijah Scott had a 15-yard touchdown catch, which made for the first points in Mastery Charter history. That's a look back at the first weekend of local football. Stay right there. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show will be back to talk about the upcoming slate and all the action Labor Day weekend as every team is back in action. We're going to highlight some of the top matchups. Be sure, seashells. Be sure to share the show. I got to change that.
Yes, you do.
I can't be saying that every
No, and I
week.
can't say it either.
Be sure to share the show on your Facebook. We appreciate that.
Click it out.
Click it out.
Click it out.
Click it out's easier to say. We'll be right back. Sit tight, guys. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley. I've had the opportunity to be around owner Mike Fody, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau, under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up many Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com. South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is sponsored in part by Cherry Hill Kia and Cherry Hill Mitsubishi. If you want to talk about top-notch selection and service that's the best around, take your car to either one of these dealerships and you won't be disappointed. While you're there, you could probably talk some pigskin too. These guys love South Jersey football. Get over to Cherry Hill Kia or Cherry Hill Mitsubishi. The show is also sponsored by the West Jersey Football Coaches Association, which was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. And in less than 2 years, the association has done just that. They started the Battle at the Beach event in Ocean City, and they have dedicated themselves to helping others. The association has donated more than $20,000 to date to provide scholarships and help those in need. If you are looking for real estate in South Jersey, reach out to Ricky Moriello at RE/MAX Community. He's helping us out again this year. He's part of the reason this show exists. He was with us from the start. Give him a ring at 609-352-9476. Ricky Moriello, RE/MAX Community. And our buddy, Coach Tom Pagic with Jersey Gridiron Scout, joins us again this season with insight on teams and prospects from around the area. He was with us all weekend, evaluating prospects at the Battle of the Beach. His college scouting service for high school players has really taken off, Mac. We've been to his college exposure showcases. They are impressive. Having coached college football for 25 years, he's tied in for sure with college coaches. He had 50 colleges attend his spring showcase to evaluate over 230 kids. Stay tuned for his next event, the Jersey Juice Senior Showcase, coming early in December following state championship games. Registration will go live soon. If you have aspirations of playing college football and need more exposure, make sure you attend that event in December. Check out his website, jerseygridironscout.com, for more information. Follow him on Instagram, Jersey Gridiron Scout, and on Twitter, @Coach Pajic, Pajic.
Just a little.
Yeah.
When guys, there's always a spot for everybody to play some football. They can, if they're not everybody, but not everybody's a blue chip Division I type kid or 1AA. I mean, there's 2, 3. There's opportunities, and Coach Pajic and his guys. I mean, they have contacts all through the 3s and 2s. I mean, I remember my dad used to say the Division I kids are easy, right? I mean, they're the ones, they're the ones getting called all the time. It's helping out the 2s and 3s find a home, find a good spot that that they're going to be comfortable not only as a player but also more importantly as a student. That's what they're there for.
Good note here from Kevin Minnick. I know we put up these games here. That Woodstown Haddon Heights game, which we are going to talk about here in a second, is 10:30 on Friday. I checked NJ.com. Too late, Kevin. You should have told me.
Is Friday a day off? Is Friday a weekend?
Are kids even in school yet?
No,
I mean,
not in Jersey.
Not in New Jersey.
Next week.
Yeah, so sure, everybody's off. Not me. Let's talk about some of these games, Mac. Thursday,
the kids are off.
Kids are off. Thursday night, Camden East Side. I think that's what we're calling them, or East Side. The Tigers from Federal Street. The Tigers from Federal Street are headed to Shawnee, 6 p.m. New faces, new school name for the Tigers. Malik Brown's first game as head coach, facing off against Tim Gushu. Not his first.
Not
game.
his first game.
Not even his first game this season.
No.
The Tigers have Willie Love, Mr. Diggs, plenty of talent across the board. Paul Medley at cornerback. Shamir Boyd up front. New quarterback this year, Mr. Brunson, Aaron Mackay. The Renegades have dropped their last 2 against the Tigers. Mac, in your perspective, as someone who's very familiar with Shawnee and you saw them last week, what do you want to see this week as they come out against a Wilson team they've struggled against the last 2 years?
They have, and that's been it's been one of an all-timer Wilson team over the last couple of years.
Sure.
I think it'll be interesting the fact that it's East Side's opener and Shawnee's second game. So some of the kinks that Shawnee had to get out last week, Eastside might have to go through some of that as well. So that's the first game versus second team. We have a couple of those throughout the weekend. It's rallying to the football, playing good defense, and playing 4 quarters of football. I think that's if I'm watching Shawnee, if I'm their staff, I'm like we got to have the same. I don't want to say effort because the kids had the effort. It's just some of the execution wasn't there at the end. I mean, again, it's day 1, week 1. So, but Eastside's going to be excited to play. It's a good matchup. They've had some good games down on 48th, and now they're coming back to Medford. Should be interesting.
It's going to be a South Jersey Football Frenzy reunion show. I think all 3 of us are going to be there. You'll be at the top of the stands, and Rod and I will be down on the sidelines. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good one. Cherry Hill West at Pennsauken, Thursday night, 6 p.m. West opened up with a bang. We talked about them. Now they have to play a close rival in proximity, and that rival has some high expectations this year with Ali, Jennings, Vicarelli, Code Red. Should be able to put up some points. The Lions opened eyes last week.
Yeah.
I mean, to win the way that they did, they're definitely not going to be sneaking up on Pennsauken. And Pennsauken, we talk a lot about Millville, Winslow, Shawnee.
Yeah, they got guys.
Pensauken's got some guys, and they're starting a little bit under the radar. So.
You got and Dante Vicarelli's kind of has the keys to that Ferrari a little bit, and he's got some different options to go to.
This is my first mention of Vince McAneney on the show today. The Vince Mac Bowl.
Well,
right?
I guess.
Yeah.
He did coach at both places.
He did?
He did. Yes, he did. I don't know if they're calling it the Vince Mac Bowl, but yeah.
There's no trophy.
No
yet.
trophy.
Yet.
I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
We'll
We need
see.
more trophies.
Yeah, it's a cool game. I mean, East, West, and Pennsauken. This was the old South Jersey North world, right?
Yeah.
Should I rattle off the teams, the backyard brawls that happened every week when
That's right.
that was
Back in the old.
Yeah, and it wasn't really about size of school. It was like, okay, Camden, Wilson, Pennsauken, and Camden Catholic, Cherry West, Cherry East, and Paul VI and Bishop Eustace.
Walking distance.
Walking distance, Cherry mall games.
That's right.
All these guys would see them. They'd play on Saturday afternoons, and they'd see each other at the mall on Sunday. And hopefully, everybody left relatively.
Was there an Orange Julius in the Cherry Hill Mall? I know there was one in Deptford. No?
I don't think so. No Orange Julius.
No Orange Julius. Yeah, it's a shame. Mainland at Ocean City, 6 p.m., another rivalry. This one to see which color the bridge will turn. Will it be green or red? After last weekend's bout at the beach, the two sides have kind of different tastes in their mouth. We talked about Ocean City unable to scratch the scoring column, and for Mainland, they had a couple big plays real quick and put EHT away, 37-0. Jamie Tyson's not sneaking up on anybody this week after the way he played last week. Jabril Mace, Villanova commit. Kind of a quiet game last week, I would say, but I think he's ready.
If you can score 1 points, they have
37.
37?
Yeah.
And he has a quiet game, that's kind of a good thing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That horse is going to be giving it to. So if you don't have to beat him up early, why not? Why not save him a little bit? And this is always going to be a good battle.
Dwayne with a good point. Wilson alum Nick Cargman starting a quarterback for Wagner tomorrow night.
East side.
Well, he's actually a Wilson alum. I'm pretty sure he went to Wilson. That's where it gets tricky.
It gets tricky.
If we got to go back and change all that, it's going to take a while. But
I think we got to go by diploma.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll check the.
I don't
We
weigh.
can't check with our.
I don't weigh in on these things.
We can't check with our one of our biggest fans and our buddy Will Hickson on that because he's now over at Camden High. He switched over back to his alma mater. So congratulations, Mr. Hickson, and we'll see you soon. But we'll have to phone in another friend. We'll have to figure it out. Tomorrow night, we'll figure it out. How we're supposed to approach this.
Still orange and black. Still, they're the Tigers.
The Tigers.
They're the Tigers.
Tigers. The mighty Tigers.
That's what I was going to say. The mighty Tigers. I'm very well aware.
All right. Great. Friday at 6 p.m., Cherokee at Hamilton. The Chiefs want to get past that heartbreaker against Holy Spirit. On Sunday, they will have a chance to show some toughness up front that maybe last week, I think that's something they're going to preach and practice this week, I'm sure, against a strong Hamilton run game led by Kenny Smith.
Right.
You know what you're going to get from them.
Yes. And, both teams, Cherokee's, they got a lot of kids in the program, a lot of guys, and, this week's about, look, we're going to put a Cherokee product on the field. It's got to look and smell like Cherokee football. You have too many guys on that sideline that have played and that coach there that, it's ingrained in them to put out a certain type of product.
Right. Now, Mr. Galida wanted to know where your Lenape swag was since you went blue and white today. He mentioned it in the comments. Our new beautiful helmet, Rod, if you could shoot over there. We got a nice helmet over there.
Which one am I
the
grabbing?
Chiefs. Thank you, Coach Glatz and company. You were on Cherokee's sideline. You're not wearing Lenape gear.
Mr. Galida,
you're going to Shawnee. He's kind of.
I can't break out the Lenape.
They haven't played yet.
Week 1, they haven't played yet.
Okay. In fact, you're wearing Wayne Valley colors.
Oh, are they? Are they?
Yeah.
This is the Shawnee Columbia for the home opener. So next week, I'm hoping I'll be sporting the L.
That's a good thing about colors. There's some other team that's affiliated with it. You could say, well, this isn't actually this, it's this. Paul to 6 in Highland.
Okay.
Right? Friday night, 6 p.m. Tartan's looking to bounce back.
Look, if I'm going to get honest about the shirts,
sure.
I got to talk to Coach Folsom. I'm a little disappointed with the boys at West Jersey Football Conference, right, or Coach Association. Let's just call it as it is, right?
Yeah.
Right. Last year they had the no brand and something. Now they had the nice. I think they were Under Armour.
Yeah, they had nice Under Armour shirts. Real nice.
The black, right? The black ones.
Yep.
With the.
Folsom, you saw his muscles.
Oh, he looked
bulging out.
fantastic in his. Fantastic. Enough editorial.
All right, we'll get you.
We'll
I
move
don't
on.
think Coach Folsom watches the show, but I'll be sure to tell him you need one.
Yeah,
Paul,
gave me one last year. No problem. Here you go.
Paul the Six.
Ripped in the wash.
Paul the Six in Highland. Our guest a couple of weeks ago, Highland coach Brian Leary, played at Paul the Six, his alma mater, threw to one young Tommy Pagic. Was one of his favorite targets, and the ball boy for that team was one Frank Delano, the Haddonfield coach. So Highland hosts Paul the Six. Paul the Six, solid group of returning players, and Highland looking to get on the winning side of things after the opener.
Coach Scuderi, now he's been there a couple years. There's some things. I know Highland wants to bounce back. I'm hoping if you're a Highland fan, hoping they're not taking Paul the Six lightly.
Yeah. Everybody wants a shirt. Coach Ab is in here, Kevin in here. I mean, you've really set the shirt world on fire. So,
I was actually willing to give a couple dollars for one too.
oh, Rod's got a hats off shirt. I would find whoever that is and maybe throw a couple dollars his way for that one.
I don't have any of those either. Wow, that's right.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. The haves and have-nots. Ramapo at Willingboro, 6 p.m. Friday night. Borough beat Ramapo a couple years ago by a point. Coach Steve Everett's bunch kind of creeping under the radar this year, just like we talked about Saucon, but they're in Group 2. The North Group 4 Raiders have a new coach in Mike DeFazio, who replaces the late Drew Gibbs, who, of course, tragically passed away last season. Ramapo's only lost 4 times in the past 4 years, and one of them was to Willingboro. So that's an interesting matchup, different sized schools, North and South Jersey. You love to see stuff like that, and you love to see these teams scheduling each other. They are not as familiar, Ramapo and Willingboro. They played, a couple years ago, but, it was a good contest. Two people that are pretty familiar with each other, Coach Paul Sacco and Coach Pete Lancetta, who are going to match wits for, at least at these current institutions, the final time. This is Coach Sacco's final season at St. Joe, and his season begins at his rival's home field, the Hermits. And Coach Lancetta, they go back a long, long way, these two.
I think they've had the coach to get against each other 25 times, at least. I mean, when Coach Lancetta was at Hamilton, those games were always battles, wars, whatever you want to. I mean, these programs don't love each other.
They don't love each other is a way to say something else. They don't.
They don't love each other.
There's a lot of different ways to say that,
right,
and
right.
That's a really
They're
good
not
way
having.
to
They're
put
not.
it.
They're not having
kids.
dinner afterwards together. No.
Christmas cards.
No.
I don't know how many.
No, they do might be saying Christmas cards, but each other holding each other's the trophy that they had won that year.
Right.
Maybe.
Tyler Habersham up front, big deal for St. Joe. Big kid, very kind. Came up to me at Bow of the Beach. Just a really, really great kid. The Cats don't have a ton of numbers, but they got some really quality players coming back on this year's team. St. Aug, we talked about it. They're young, and after last week, they're going to be very hungry. They had some guys out as well for that game, dinged up. There's a lot of motivation in this game, and the kids have to play, and we know that. But you don't. It's the last one. You just want to be you want to end up.
You don't want to be the team.
You want to hold that final card,
well,
don't you? If you're Coach Lancetta or Coach Sacco.
Well, yeah, but you allude to the fact that they don't have a lot of guys at St. Joe, but I think the rule still stayed 11, right? And they might have only
Still play 11 to a side.
Yeah,
right?
11.
In words of
11.
Pop.
Yeah. You still get 11 on each side. So it's, we've quoted them now 3 times.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I'm not really. If you're St. Joe's, they're going to show up with a product on the field. It's going to be quite fun. It's going to be a physical game.
Yeah.
A good one. Good one at Richland.
Hector, you can message me and I will find the guy who sells the hats off T-shirts. Washington Township at Eastern, Friday night, 6 p.m. Vikings coach Lionel Bolin took in Township's loss to Thomas River on Saturday. It's good to see you, Lionel. He had to be impressed with what he saw, even though Township came up a little bit short. Eastern's got some talent this season, especially in Izzy Hernandez, a guy who could flat out play on both sides of the ball. We talked to him at Coach Pagic's showcase earlier this season on the Hats Off podcast. Great kid.
Yeah, then can Eastern be physical enough to play with Washington Township?
We're going to find out.
Yep.
Delran and Delsey, 7 p.m. Some think the Crusaders could end up being the top team in South Jersey this season. That journey will begin at home against the Bears.
Is it on purpose? Is it on purpose, or is it? Delsey's always kind of like
On an island.
we're always talking about other teams, and Sal's down there going, "All right, don't say anything."
It's like we forgot about them.
Right.
I mean, they are a powerhouse program
Oh,
historically.
yes.
So, but
And
it's like we do forget about them.
we do. They don't go to the.
And that's how they like it.
They don't battle for that beach. They don't rumble on that Raritan. They don't. They just stay right where they stay right there in Franklinville and say, "Come on,
Yep.
we'll be fine."
Well, to that point, you got a Maxwell running the offense and Zach. You got Luke, Jared Shoppy, Wayne Adair taking handoffs. They went 11-1 last year. They lost in the sectional final to Cedar Creek. And that was, everybody lost to Cedar Creek last time I checked. So
It doesn't go over well at Delsey, though.
right. And they have a lot back.
Doesn't go over.
It's a big year for the Crusaders, I think. And they open up against Delran at home. Another Friday night game, Irvington versus Millville at Rutgers, 7 p.m. This is another would have been a state title game matchup from a year ago. Irvington figures to be in play as a Group 4 title contender. They beat Woodbridge last week, and Millville is ready to go, as we saw and talked about earlier on the program. The Knights, led by Coach Smoke Pierre, lost quarterback Nasir Ransom to a knee injury. It's unclear if he's going to play or not in this game, and but they got dudes, and Rutgers commit Mr. Torre had 63 yards receiving and a score in that opener. This is going to be a great game. I'm going to be there.
Losing a quarterback's not good. I mean, Irvington, I'm sure they're a big school and they got a guy, but losing your guy, I don't care at what level. I mean, so hopefully he's okay. I don't know enough about Irvington to see, but, we shall see.
Especially in a game where you think it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
You have to score points with Millville to stay in the game. They're a running gun type offense. And if the other team doesn't have their quarterback, it makes it an even tougher battle.
Right. I got tired watching Millville on Sunday. Watching.
Well, you didn't have enough practices.
Well, the
Kings.
it was like watching a one-way serve tennis match.
This could very well be a Group 4 championship preview, Hector. And it would have been last year. It's just like that Salem-Cedar Grove game. That would have been the state championship last year. Last year, that would have been the state championship. As Irvington beat Northern Highlands in their game, and Millville beat Winslow in their game. And not only that, Sunday at 7 p.m., Winslow and Northern Highlands, those two runner-ups, they play at Rutgers. Northern Highlands went 12-1 last year, lost that game to Irvington. They have a new coach in Greg Cord. I believe their old coach, Mr. Russo, went up to Paramus Catholic. Yeah, we'll see. New coach and Bill Belton as well for Winslow.
Well, yeah, but you start jumping around on me. This gets crazy.
Yeah, sorry.
See what he
That's
does,
my
right?
fault.
But Kingsway, Williamstown, right?
Oh, yeah. Kingsway
Williamstown.
Sorry. Not to jump ahead.
Right?
Yep.
That's a huge game.
It is.
You got Williamstown lost to RV, probably a little bit unexpected, right? Williamstown went in there.
Sure.
We're Williamstown, right? Thinking we can throw the W's out, and now they come back to a team that they took care of handedly last year, but a team that won the sectionals, to a team that has a lot of preseason hype, Kingsway. Again, Kingsway's first game, Williamstown's second game. Kingsway, maybe on paper, is the favorite, but playing a perennial winning program who's coming off a loss is terrifying as a coach.
Well,
that's not the spot you want to be in. Some teams, they lost, they're going to be licking their wounds, but no, this team's going to be a little bit hungry, a lot of it hungry.
Kingsway does have high expectations and does bring a lot back, and that can't be overstated. However, there's two things that the Kingsway has traditionally struggled with, and it's Cherokee and Williamstown. Struggled with them both last year. Williamstown won that game last year, and it was not a great year for Williamstown. They would say the same thing, and Kingsway did end up with the sectional final. Williamstown won that game 31-0. They've won 7 in a row in the series dating back to 2013. They've had the number. So, on its face, right, you look and say, Kingsway should win that game. Well, for Kingsway, they really have it doubled, circled in red.
Well,
Williamstown, not only is it our opener, we got to get past this.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, these type of games, when you go below 42, and the big school down there, you got to be, Kingsway, Williamstown, Washington Township. I mean, Millville's its own little different level now. But you got to beat that team. I mean, remember, like up in Burlington County, you got to beat Cherokee, right? You got to beat Shawnee. You got to beat the teams, the perennials that are there week in, year out. Lenape now. I mean, just those type of games that are ones that and having it early in the season. Kingsway week 1, like I said, Williamstown game 2. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
Yeah, like Kevin says, what's Williamstown's identity this year without Turner Inge? I think Zach Zerby is the guy that is going to be, but they're young across the board. I mean, Zerby has that veteran experience, and a Kingsway team. A lot of people are excited to see what they do this season. So. That'll be an interesting one at Williamstown, 7 p.m. In West Defford at 7 p.m. on Friday night, they host Woodbury. The Eagles were down in 2021. They went 3-7. Woodbury only lost once in their regional final game against Salem. We'll see what Friday night has in store. Local teams don't see each other as much now. Now they're not in the Colonial Conference together in football. So not a far drive.
No, it's an old Colonial rival, as you just mentioned. I mean, that's the fact that these guys still play is cool. West Defford, unlike West Defford last year, so
yeah, they really there's a lot of urgency over there,
right,
to put last year behind them as well. And for Woodbury, they want to continue the good vibes they had against Maple Shade and the good vibes they had last season. Kevin mentioned this Friday morning, 10:30 a.m., Woodstown at Haddon Heights. Woodstown's tough up front with Sean Garrity, one of the best linemen in South Jersey. They have a standout tailback in Mr. James Hill, one of the best in South Jersey. Coach John Adams' team, hungry after last year. They lost to Woodbury 8-6 in sectional final. Heights has some talent back as well, and receiver Matt Ibarra is a sneaky good player. This is a nice matchup.
Woodstown's going to be tough this year.
Yes, no question.
Returners, a lot of good dudes. Like them a lot.
Lenape on Sunday at 1 p.m. against Wayne Valley. We saw Wayne Valley against Delran, very well coached, solid team. The Tribe looks to get on the right side of things this season. They went 3-8 last season. Now, they did upset Washington Township in the first round of the playoffs as an 8 seed. They hung right with Kingsway. A very close game. I was there, and then Kingsway goes on and wins sectional final. High expectations always at Lenape, right? A bar that was set by the guy to my right. Coach Woj is doing a great job. Marty, the gang.
Yeah,
What do you think about this matchup?
It's a good spot for, Lenape. It's their opener at Rutgers.
Yeah.
It's a good program place to play, right? Opening up. And we've talked ad nauseum on this show how early we thought the season was. This one now, talking to the guys at Lenape, they're chomping at the bit to get there, right? They feel like now we're the last game. They're the last team to play in South Jersey, pretty much. Besides
Winslow.
Besides Winslow,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you're on Sunday of that Rutgers event. They want to get out there. They want to go. And again, they know the kids there. I mean, they understand what's happened before them, the success the programs have had in the last couple of years too. I mean, COVID year, and they've had some 1920s. They've had some really tough football teams. So now they've got a chance to see Wayne Valley play, which some people can. Here's your advantage, right? You're playing week 2, and you haven't played yet, so you've gotten a chance to see what Wayne Valley is going to do in a close game. Right. So Wayne Valley did not blowout by any means they'll ran. So they had to, do what they needed to do to win that game. You would think that they weren't saving anything. But Lenape's got to get out some of those early kinks as well because, again, game 1, week 1.
Should be a great game. That's actually 1 p.m. on Sunday at Rutgers, Lenape and Wayne Valley. 4 p.m., Salem and Camden.
And this is Lenape colors to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Of course. Playing Wayne Valley. I mean, you got their colors on. I'm going South Jersey here. Salem and Camden and Rutgers. I'm wearing this for Rutgers, actually, of course. Huge Rutgers guy. Coach Rob Hinson coached Coach Montre Wright, I believe, when he was at Salem. And now the two will match up at SHI Stadium. Salem took the matchup a year ago at the Battle of the Beach at the final whistle with Nate Wilson's kick, 22-20. This will be one of Labor Day weekend's most anticipated contests, Mac.
A lot of talent on the field.
Yep.
Camden coming back from Ohio. We talked about it, on break and all those things, going out and playing out of state, different rules, different when programs start and stop and when they're doing things, I wouldn't look at Camden High as a team that's going to get beat too often, 36-6, come back and, right? I mean, so going out there, they probably, it was a game for them, but, look, we're going to go get a preseason game out of state, and it's going to be a tough task, and it's going to get us ready for the journey, which Coach Hinson has them going. And then, playing Salem. So, yeah, hyped up game. Should be a lot of fun, that one.
Yeah, be a great game, 4 p.m. at Rutgers. You look at Salem, as good as they are, and they beat Cedar Grove, and that was an out-of-area test. Camden, Group 3 team, neutral site. Pleasantville, Group 2 team. At Penns Grove, Cedar Creek at home, Group 3 team. Woodstown at home, division rival. At Paulsboro, division rival. At West Deptford, Group 2 team. Woodbury at home, division rival. I mean, they play everybody they can play, And who was their last scrimmage, Rod? Millville. And it was 14-7 through 3 quarters with starters, I think. Salem is that, we looked a couple of years ago, Mac, and we talked about Willingboro, that team that was so good. Mm-hmm. And we said, this is not a Group 1 team.
No, it's an anomaly, that's for sure.
It's an anomaly. And you see hints of that with the Salem team, that they're just very impressive across the board. They're big, they're fast, they're experienced. 4-year starter quarterback, which you said that's the most important
that's
part.
Huge.
But,
and Rod, what's the old? It's not how many players you have; it's how many players you have.
dudes.
They got a lot of players.
Yeah, they do. And for Camden High, this is the start of a new era, and this is really officially the start of the new era. You go out of town, you go out of state. It's a team bonding experience. It's not the result you want, but here you're going to have a lot of fans there. You're going to have a lot of fans watching the live stream at home as well. You're playing against a team that is going to bring it, and they're well aware of Salem's best players. So this is a good start for them as well. I'm excited for that. 4 p.m. at Rutgers, Salem versus Camden. 7 p.m. Winslow, Northern Highlands at Rutgers. Caps the weekend. I think I'll say 6 games. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then 3 on Sunday. So I think 6 total. So by the end of next weekend, should be at 17 games.
That you've watched.
Yeah.
You'll have a good eye. You'll have a good eye of what's going on in South Jersey football.
Yeah, let's hope so.
As you should.
Should have a show. We're almost to the final segment. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this to talk about our TurnersvilleJeep.com Game of the Week. the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Game of the Week is sponsored by TurnersvilleJeep.com. TurnersvilleJeep.com on Route 42 in Turnersville. Turnersville Jeep is proud to sponsor South Jersey High School football. TurnersvilleJeep.com has a huge inventory of new Jeeps, Chryslers, Dodges, and Ram trucks, and a large inventory of pre-owned vehicles as well, plus an award-winning 5-star service department. Drive a little, save a lot at TurnersvilleJeep.com. They're located on Route 42 in Turnersville, or visit TurnersvilleJeep.com. If you take a selfie at the Game of the Week this week, you have a week to redeem it for a free oil change at Turnersville Jeep. I would recommend you do that. I would recommend you see this Game of the Week, Mac. 11 a.m. on Saturday in Paulsboro.
Haddonfield.
The Raiders host the Haddons. This is the first game of the Kevin Harvey era. Of course, the real first game of his era happened many years ago. But the first his coaching era. At Paulsboro is against the defending Group 2 South Regional champs in Coach Frank Delano and the Haddons. The defense, Coach Mike Miller's unit brings back 9 off of that team last year, including Charlie Klaus, Chris Clax, Carl Forball, Dom Hahn. And Klaus and Hahn both run the ball. New quarterback this year in 6'2", 225-pounder Declan McCarthy after Carson Wolf graduated. The Raiders bring back quite a bit as well. Rocco Pellegrini at quarterback, Preston Moore. They have Breon Hardy, and they have Nova commit, Ivan Murray. Demir Avant will play on both sides of the ball, linebacker, defensive end, running back. Should be a great test for both sides.
This is
a good game.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Red and white.
Red and white versus black and red.
And white.
And then you got 2 teams that are typically sectional finalists, Group 1, Group 2, South Jersey finalists. Winners, both of them, multiple championships. The interesting thing here is Haddonfield will play with a Klaus as is a prerequisite.
Yes.
And Paulsboro will not be playing with Howard.
Right.
That's interesting, right? I mean, I'm sitting here going, what's Glenn doing this week? Right? What is my gosh? I mean, what's Glenn Howard doing? I mean, is he going? Coach Harvey's going to do a great job, right?
Yes.
He is Paulsboro through and through,
yes.
and the program's in great hands. But Glenn has been such a class champion forever in South Jersey, and having him not a part of it, that's the kind of. Now I'm starting to, being a guy who's followed that program,
sure.
As one of the perennials. But a cool thing, Coach Delano, his group, and Paulsboro. I mean, that's a great opening. Credit to a lot of these ADs and the coaches getting there and going, you know what? Let's, you remember like the college football, right? The big game wasn't until the weekend of Thanksgiving, right? Michigan, Ohio State, all those games we can all throw out that everybody watches, Oklahoma, whatever. Now the colleges a couple years ago started playing that one game early, interconference game, week 1, boom, right? Whatever, Bama, Texas, or Bama, Ohio State, or something. There's some interconference monster game.
Right.
That's what's cool about some of these what's going on now. I mean, we see that these guys, these programs, like, you know what? We're not going to sandbag it. Let's go find out who we are early.
I mean, you think about some of the matchups we had last week, and they were very good. And this week, we said these are the 6 games I get to see this week. Shawnee and Eastside, great game, compelling, awesome matchup, right? Irvington and Millville, come on,
right? Yes, sir.
Great matchup.
Yes, sir. Both programs.
Haddonfield, Paulsboro,
absolutely, yep.
Great matchup. Lenape, Wayne Valley, Salem, Camden, Winslow, Northern Highlands. I mean, excellent matchups we're seeing early on. And what I like about it is the West Jersey Football League gives us great matchups week in, week out. But outside of that, we're seeing that trend become the norm for out-of-area scheduling, and other events are scheduling. Woody Humphreys here says the Battle of the Beach was a great event because of stuff like that, where you say, well, look. Cherokee says, well, look, we play Shawnee, Millville, St. Augustine, Williamstown.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
Lenape.
Lenape.
Those are all great games, and they're tough. But you know what? Let's throw another one. We'll play Spirit. Why not? We're playing everybody anyway.
Well, I think,
Right.
I mean, maybe
Hamilton.
not for, yes, and maybe not for tonight, but because of the way the points have changed, the power points, it doesn't penalize you as much to lose, right? I mean, it used to be, I mean, I'm gonna
Go ahead.
there was only 4 groups back in the day up until 10 some years ago, and only 4 teams made the playoffs, not 8. I was talking with Coach Gallagher, longtime Sterling coach the other day. 5 groups, 8 teams, that's 40. It used to be 4 groups, 4 teams, that's 16. I took a couple math classes, 40 is more than 16 by 2 times. My point is now the way they do the PowerPoints, you don't get crushed for having these type of games. A loss you lose twice back in the day, you weren't making the playoffs. Now, you have teams that are, that go through these gauntlets of schedules, and my gosh, you just mentioned, the Cherokees and the Shawnees and the Lenapes and playing the Millvilles and the Washington Townships and the St. Augustines. I mean, they're all doing it.
But it's even like that with the Group 1. When you look at, Salem's schedule, they go from
go up.
playing a champion to Camden, then they're going to have Woodstown and all these other teams.
So what's Salem have to do? Like the fives can go find fives. And Salem's got to go. They got to go find somebody who's a 1. But we know Salem's not your typical 1, right? So they got to go get they got to go get the 2s and 3s. They're climbing. And those 3s are like, if you're a 3 looking at Salem coming,
Right. Well, what I like about
and if you have to go there,
yeah.
they're going to pay people fees, like appearance fees, to come watch them walk up the street.
When you look at football now, and it's no secret that the numbers have diminished across the board over the years, right? In terms of participation, programs now are important, right? Our programs produce championship level caliber teams for most part. Some programs go up and other programs go down, but we understand most of the teams are in the middle and there's some at the bottom, and those teams, when it comes to finding the right games or when the league needs to put them in the right groups, it's not always the easiest, right? And that's the majority. However, what I like about it is these programs that are the best 20, 25 programs, they act accordingly. They're not saying, well, I need to play this team. They know that team's not up to par. So even when they're not scheduled in division, their crossovers are against teams that are like-minded, like teams. They're not saying, well, I need a week off, so I want to play this team. They've been struggling. No, they're going out and they're playing tough teams. And that is what I like to see, is that the best of the best are taking the onus on themselves and saying, we need to play the best of the best. Even though Salem's already playing Paulsboro, Woodbury, Woodstown, Pennsgrove in their division, they're still saying, well, let's go play Camden. Let's go play Cedar Grove. Let's play Cedar Creek. Let's play Pleasantville, and that's great.
3 losses doesn't knock you out of the playoffs.
Right.
Or 4 losses.
Right.
I mean, you go to the college ranks, you lose 2 games, you're
done.
You're done. So there's a reason why, after this week, when everybody's all hyped up week 1 in college, that, your Ohio State's playing Akron. I mean, you tell.
Well, this week?
No, not after this week.
After this week, it'll be a little bit.
Right. That's
But look at this.
But they all
week.
do it.
But look at this week, and who's Oregon? Georgia's playing Oregon. I mean, they know too. Those programs. That's a game you schedule.
Well, yes, you schedule that game knowing, but then the next week you're.
Right. Yeah, I think what it is you have to have those staple games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you said, Coach. It's not like the old days where you're kind of trying to play the PowerPoint system. Now you're trying to play the best teams to get the best competition to get ready for the playoffs, because you do know if you lose a game or 2, it's not going to hurt you as much.
Right.
You know you're getting in.
You're right. If you have a good team, you're going to get in.
Yeah, everybody makes the playoffs almost. I mean, you're getting in.
Right.
And
it's hockey.
Whatever
it's NHL hockey, so get yourself ready for it.
The year that set this in motion that we'll always look back on is Shawnee, when they made the playoffs at 2-6 or whatever, and they won the championship.
Yep.
And you said, well, they went into their group playoffs and looked at every team they faced. And you can speak to this, probably. Or tell me if I'm wrong. And they looked across the field and said, that team is not better than anybody in our division that we've played for the last 8 weeks.
Right.
We may have lost 6 games, but those 6 teams we lost to would beat that team, and therefore we know we would beat that team, and they did.
Battle tested, and they won a couple sectional titles in it.
Absolutely, and that's
Well, they've won more than a couple, but 2 in the years you talk about.
Yeah,
And they were in 2 finals,
Right.
or one. So yes, 100%.
Steve, you are correct. The PowerPoints for out-of-state games do not count this year. The state came down with that ruling in May. It's a little bit late for some teams to adjust schedules, but that is the truth. This is going to be a special season. This program will continue to do the best 11 rankings, but you know what? I don't think that's fair to do. We don't do preseason, and I don't think it's fair to do till everybody's played a game. So next week we'll unveil our first rankings.
I know who's won.
You do?
I know who's won.
Well, if we don't penalize out-of-area games, they'll be number 1 next week too. I think it's hard to argue right now with that conversation. But look, we'll have the best 11 rankings through the season, and they're always fun to do. Right?
Absolutely, and they mean a little bit. We kick it around, just for fodder.
Yeah. I do want to say this before we head out for the night and go off to all these great games. We were fortunate enough to be in the action at the Battle of the Beach. We talked about it all program. It was a fun event, and it was a great event, and the Coaches Association did a phenomenal job. It was very gratifying seeing so many friendly faces and hearing so many friendly things about the show from officials and fans and coaches and players that they watch the show. You guys enjoy it. That means everything to us. That is why we're here. That just means a lot. Because so many people were there this weekend and were able to talk and catch up, tell stories, and give a lot of fun anecdotes. It was a lot of fun. So thank you, everybody who
It's great football.
provided the positive reinforcement.
That was really great. Meeting everybody and they saying, "Oh, I could put a name with the face."
Yeah.
Now, so
Right?
Mostly for
pretty
you,
cool.
Rod. Mostly for Wilson back
I'll
there.
tell you what's
Right,
cool.
right.
Watching football with football fans is cool because there was no really rooting interest.
Right.
It was just kind of like every play, Bam would go and then Roman would go and you'd be like, man, what a play! And you just both teams back and forth for that spirit game. And in Millville, Millville obviously handled it a little bit, but
You're absolutely right.
just rooting for, just cheering on good
football.
Good football, fun to watch. And South Jersey has a ton of good football.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I have to laugh because we spent a lot of time with Dwayne and company. And when I said, you know what, Coach Mack is at this Cherokee game. You want to go. He's like, Coach Mack, I would love to meet him.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to tell him this before you. Here we go. Glassboro, Burlington City. Hey, look, Glassboro, real quick. Amari Saab. Someone you want to watch. Someone you want to watch.
He can pick him, can he? He's a 4.3 40 kid. Well, maybe not. Close, right?
Keith, get out there and watch that thing.
He'll be there.
He's a really good football player.
Yeah, he is.
Really
No
good.
doubt.
Yeah, he is.
Genetics.
Yes. Yes.
That helps.
Duran, it was a great weekend. Guys, we can sit here all day, and we certainly would. But if you missed the first part of the show, go back and watch it. We're going to cobble this thing together so we have the whole episode, I think, Rod.
Yeah, for the podcast. Yep.
Yeah, we'll be good to go. I think it'll be on all your streaming platforms. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Good luck to all the players out there. Stay healthy. Shout out to Rod, D2 Sports Network, Studio B. Thank you, Sully, as always. We'll be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. to break down everything that happened this first full week. Look forward to the biggest games next week. So, Coach Mack, Rod, Mark Trible, South Jersey Football Frenzy Show, thank you for watching.